Okay, and now we combine both hands. Let's see what this is gonna sound like. Okay, we'll go through that step by step. So first, you start with both hands at the same time. You hold this A for the first chord. Then you play this. And as soon as you hit this upper C, you start with the second chord. You start with this first C on the first note, and you play the second C on the third note of the left hand. Okay? Then you'll play this, and you start with the third chord, or you just play this, and you start on this B. Okay? You start with the third chord. You play those three notes of the third chord, and then you start with this. And the same thing happens as before. On the first B, you will start with the first note of the fourth chord. And on this last note of the left hand, you will play the second B. So from here, so that was the first time you play the four chords with your left hand. Now you start again. You basically start on this A again, just like in the very beginning. You just play this E before you start on this A. Okay? Or you just start on it, whatever you prefer. And now this pattern starts that you will play a couple of times. Okay, so what you do is, you do exactly the same as in the intro, as in the very beginning. Only you don't play C twice, remember? You go up to D and then B. And the timing of those two notes is a little bit tricky. You play this D in between the third and fourth note of the second chord. And then you go down to this B on the third chord. So again. Then you play G, A, B, and on this B you start with the last chord. And then you play this. And on this last C, you will start from the beginning again. Okay? So again, the whole thing from the beginning. Okay, and now this part up here starts with the right hand. And for the second hand, you played the four chords twice. That was the intro. And now you play this pattern. Okay? Now here's how you combine it. On the C, you play the first chord again. That was from here. Okay? And then it will sound like this. and so on. Okay, so the first chord. On the last two notes, you play 4 notes. On the last 2 notes, you play those 2 E's. Okay, then the second chord starts. You will go up to this F. And on the third note, you will go down to this E again. And then on this D on the third chord. Again, on the last 2 notes of this third chord, you will play D twice, just like you started with E twice on the last 2 notes of the first chord. You do the same thing with the third chord and this D. And the timing for the rest is also the same. Only on this fourth chord you will just go up here, won't go back here. Okay, so it will sound like this. And then you start on the first chord again with the C. And then the pattern starts again. Okay, and now it's just repetition. Let's listen to this upper part again. And now you basically do exactly the same timing, just different notes up here. Okay, now it changes a bit because the tempo of your right hand changes, but you basically just play one note for one note and you start again on the last 2 notes of the first chord. You hold this D for 2 notes and then you start with the same pattern from here again and you again play note for note. Okay, again. And again the same thing. Okay, now remember, with the right hand you'll play E 3 times, and with the left hand you'll play this. You play those 2 E's always on this B of the left hand. Okay? Okay, if you're really struggling in putting both hands together, focus on the right hand first. Try to only play chords down here without any progression in them. Okay, so you can only focus on the right hand, but you know when the next chord starts on the left hand. You get a feeling for that. Okay, and again we'll listen to everything in slow motion and then in normal speed. Now, one thing that helped me out to remember the left hand is when you play D and B in this little bit different timing, you're on the second chord and you always have to play the second chord with 4 notes. That's always when this happens. Okay? Try to look for that. Okay, so you can remember that. And another thing, as soon as you start to play this pattern up here, all 3 of them, you always play 4 notes for each chord. Except for the last chord, of course. Then again this. And so on. So maybe this helps you out a little bit. And now this is what it should sound like later. Okay, and that was the first part of the song. Now let's have a look at the next part.